And for that, we go to NBC's Vaughn Hilliard, who's at the White House with an update on the escalating conflict between Israel and Iran. Vaughn, where do things stand? What are we learning right now?
Alex, we're just learning here this afternoon from a U.S. official that Israel had approached the United States, the president, about a potential plan to assassinate the supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Khamenei. This would have amounted to a regime change in Iran if Israel and the U.S. had agreed to move forward with such a military effort as this in these last days. Of course, that sort of action has not been executed upon here at this time, but this comes 3 days now after those initial airstrikes were launched in a surprise attack on Iran, and since there have been retaliatory airstrikes going between the two countries here. Well, for President Trump on his part here just a few hours ago in a social media post, he suggested that he still believes that there could be a, quote, deal between Israel and Iran to bring an end to this war. At the same time, this White House has indicated repeatedly that they are in the position where they have made a case to Iran that they must halt all uranium enrichment and stop all efforts to build nuclear bomb capabilities. I want to let you listen to Bibi Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister, in his first interview on Fox since those initial airstrikes 3 nights ago, in which he was very specific in talking about the U.S.'s cooperation with Israel and why he decided to proceed with this attack before, if folks will recall, today was supposed to be the 6th round of talks between the U.S. and Iran on a potential nuclear agreement, but the Israelis went forward with their airstrike early nonetheless. Take a listen.
I think we achieved a great surprise the other day when we started. We could wait and wait and wait. They'd string along the negotiations. We gave them a chance. I gave them a chance, but it was clear they were not serious about it. It became clear, I think, to the United States as well, because the president was very clear. He said, you can't have nuclear weapons. And in order not to have nuclear weapons, you can't enrich uranium. And they basically strung everybody along, and it was clear to us it was going nowhere.
Alex, it's a serious question now, the extent to which the U.S. will militarily involve itself with Israel's future military plans. Of course, in the same interview, the prime minister suggested that this war would continue on Iran until they end all uranium enrichment. And yet clearly Iran has not agreed to move forward with any such plan to halt those efforts there. And for the U.S.'s part, they at least presently continue to defend Israeli airspace with the U.S. military using pilots to shoot down drones. So there's a lot of big questions ahead here for this White House, but one that a U.S. official tells us that they pushed back against a plan to take down the Ayatollah and kill Iran's supreme leader.
Absolutely. So clearly no cessation of activities expected anytime soon. Very quickly, G7, the president heads to Canada for that meeting. What are the expectations there in terms of the top issue they'll be talking about?
Right. The president is leaving just 3-4 hours from now or so to head up to Canada. We should note that it's not just the G7 leaders that will be there, but other global leaders, including Ukrainian President Zelensky, have been invited to attend these talks as well. This is, of course, the president's first trip since his economic coercion campaign to try to force Canada into becoming the 51st state of the United States. So, of course, that will be on the table, and undoubtedly what is unfolding in the Middle East will also be of paramount concern to European allies, especially here, as the U.S. has really kind of made its posture of going it alone in so many regards in terms of negotiations on these various conflicts overseas. The question here is to what extent do they turn to some of these other allies and leaders to help put pressure on Russia, for example, to try to bring some of these wars here to an end?
Now here it is. He realizes he has a short time and he get things ramped up. So when you gonna realize, for those who aren't, go hitting the highways and hedges, who aren't doing videos, who aren't fellowshipping, who aren't actually putting their hand to the plow, because he realizes that, man, hey, I can't allow them to enrich uranium. He's looking into the heavens. He's seeing the chariots. He's seeing the third temple being built before his eyes, he is seeing his kingdom crumble right before his eyes. And because of that, he's kicking it to a whole nother gear right now. I've never seen E, since I've been in this truth, this desperate. Doing all types of, doing all types of extra, you know, basically doing so much in such a short period of time. You know, these E is getting emboldened. You know, you're a very, very bold man for you to come up against somebody who has nuclear capabilities, and because we also see that Russia is back in Iran. Now, there was once upon a time where actually it was the opposite, where America and Israel and Iran, they were all allies. And it was the Bear Russia USSR that had conflict with Iran. But now it's the opposite. Iran and Magog, or the Bear, or Russia, are allies. And what's the common enemy do they have? Israel and what? America. The great Satan. Trying to wipe this place off the map. And that was very, very bold for Trump to say, yeah, you know, I told him to relax. Basically, he implying that I can get you touched anytime I want to. And now, best and believe with the intel that America has, that he does know where all these guys are at any given time. The Kim Jong Il's, the Ayatollah Khomeinis, the Putins. He knows where they are at any given time. Now, just think about how low he is down on that totem pole. People that's even higher. They know where these world leaders are. Now, if he were to do that, that will really put us on the brink. But then still, everything has to happen at its time, so we still have to have the MOTB system come. It would just make it, everything would have to be up faster. You already see the playbook for that's already being lined up. We already have the technology to already do it. So we are that much closer to America going on the brink of destruction. Here it is. You have, I'm going to grab Ezekiel 39. Ezekiel, wait, it's 38. Ezekiel 38, and it says and the point is in verse 7. And I'll start at verse 1. It says, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith Yahweh God, Behold, I am against thee, Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. What it means to put hooks into thy jaws. You ever take a horse, you put hooks into his jaws, bridle him up, you can steer him in whatever direction that you want to. That's what the Heavenly Father is implying. He's putting hooks into his jaws and bringing them back to that old USSR state. Verse 5. Persia. Guess who's Persia? Iranians. Persia, Ethiopia, Libya. With them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. A guard is protection. So Russia is offering protection to Iran. It could be in the form of intelligence. It could be in the form of actual physical power, weapons, but Russia is offering help. That's why Iran is so bold to do some of the stuff that it's doing. Iran, here's what's not going to happen. Just drop a bomb on Iran and everything. It would love to do that. That's not how it's going to end. That's not how things is going to work. It sounds like a good plan, but it can't happen. Because what are the angels doing? They're holding back the four winds of destruction of this place. But man, if Big T would ever do that, you would see things get popping even faster. And on that note, I'm going to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Akakwadash. Double honors to the elders of GMS Rule Well. Peace, salutations, and shalom.